Let's start with the original, where, surprise, Jason doesn't kill anyone. Instead, it's his mother, Pamela Voorhees, out for revenge. But we all know the big shocker, Jason's sudden appearance at the end, pulling Alice into the lake. Was it a dream? Or is Jason really out there? Well, that twist set him up as the face of the franchise. Speaking of faces, can you believe they almost named him Josh Voorhees? Imagine being scared of Josh lurking in the woods. Doesn't quite have the same ring, does it? Also, did you know Betsy Palmer, who played Pamela Voorhees, called the script a piece of shit? She only took the role to buy a new car. Priorities, right? But the real kicker, they killed an actual snake on camera. Yep, that wasn't special effects. Oh, and poor Harry Crosby, who played Bill, was temporarily blinded when fake blood got in his eye during filming. He couldn't see for 6 months. Now that's real-life horror. Before we dive deeper into the evolution of the Friday the 13th series, smash that like button and subscribe to Evolution Lab for more videos like this. Jason finally steps into the spotlight. But wait, no hockey mask yet? Nope. He's rocking a burlap sack in part 2, inspired by the town that dreaded sundown. Now, here's some fun. Jason was played by 2 different actors in this movie. Warrington Gillette handled the unmasked scenes, while Steve Daskowich, a stuntman, took care of all the action. And yes, Steve got injured on set by a real machete. Ouch. Did you know that part 2 was shot at a real camp in Connecticut, which also served as a Boy Scout retreat? The cast and crew sometimes had to pause filming because there were actual campers staying at the site. Imagine trying to film a horror movie while real-life scouts are just outside, completely unaware of the scares being created.
Jason! It's all done, Jason. You've done your job well, and Mommy is pleased. That's a good boy.
This is it. The moment Jason becomes the horror icon we all know. The hockey mask? Total last-minute decision. They literally borrowed it from the 3D supervisor's bag. Now, that's some on-the-fly creativity. And speaking of 3D, this movie was packed with objects being shoved toward the camera for that full 3D effect. From pitchforks to eyeballs. How about that? And fun fact, this was the first Friday the 13th movie released on an actual Friday the 13th. Super fitting, right? Also, Richard Brooker, who played Jason in this one, used to be a trapeze artist. Maybe that's why Jason seems faster and stronger in this film. Yeah, we all knew this wasn't really the final chapter, right? Jason's popularity wasn't going to let him stay dead, but Ted White, the actor who played Jason, wasn't too happy on set. He requested to go uncredited because of how the cast was treated. At one point, he even threatened to quit when Judy Aronson, who played Samantha, got hypothermia after being forced to stay in freezing water for too long during one of her scenes. Now, that's dedication to your fellow cast members. And let's talk about Corey Feldman. Yep, that Corey Feldman. He played Tommy Jarvis and was obsessed with horror effects as a kid, which totally prepared him for his epic battle with Jason. Hold up, Jason's not the killer here? That's right. A New Beginning introduces Roy Burns, a copycat killer, but Jason still looms large through Tommy Jarvis's hallucinations. Stuntman Tom Morga plays Jason in these visions, creating that eerie tension. Originally, this was supposed to kick off a new era for the franchise with a fresh villain, but let's be real. Nobody wanted a Jason-less Friday the 13th. Fan backlash brought Jason back in full force for the next film. Jason Leaves was all about giving Jason that supernatural edge. Resurrected by lightning, Total Frankenstein vibes, right? This was also the first time the filmmakers injected some humor into the series. From the James Bond-style opening where Jason walks toward the screen with a machete, to the undead jokes throughout. And let's not forget, Jason is now officially an unstoppable zombie. You can't outrun or outkill this guy. Kane Hodder makes his debut as Jason in The New Blood, and man, does he bring a new level of brutality to the role. This movie was originally supposed to feature a Jason versus Carrie showdown with a telekinetic girl, but legal issues got in the way. Still, the telekinesis remains, adding an interesting twist to the usual machete action. Plus, Jason's makeup here, extra gnarly. He's been underwater for a while, and it shows. Jason in New York City? Sort of. Due to budget constraints, most of this movie was shot on a cruise ship, with only the final act set in Manhattan. But we do get one iconic scene where Jason knocks over a group of street punks, showing them who's boss. Speaking of bosses, Kane Hodder, who reprised his role, struggled with the wet makeup during long shoot days. Turns out, wearing makeup while drenched in water isn't fun. Who knew? Jason Goes to Hell takes a wild turn, revealing that Jason's immortality is tied to a demonic entity that allows him to possess other bodies. And here's a fun prop fact. Jason's heart, which we see pulsating even after his body is destroyed, was reused in From Dusk Till Dawn as a vampire heart. Gross but cool, right? Oh, and Richard Gant, who played the coroner, had to eat that heart, which was filled with gelatin. He wasn't too happy about it either. In Jason X, Jason becomes Uber Jason. But did you know it wasn't all CGI for his futuristic upgrades? The crew actually designed a physical suit for Kane Hodder to wear, and the transformation scene was inspired by the 1987 film RoboCop. The idea was to give Jason a high-tech makeover, blending practical effects with CGI. Kane Hodder has said it was one of the most uncomfortable costumes he's ever worn.
You guys might want to run.
The showdown we'd all been waiting for, Jason versus Freddy. Kane Hodder was replaced by Ken Kersinger in this film to make Jason look taller than Freddy. During the climactic fight scenes, the actors agreed to take real punches for authenticity. Yep, they took it that seriously. And though Freddy may have the personality, Jason's silent but deadly approach really shines through in this epic battle. In the 2009 reboot, Jason is more of a survivalist, using traps and tunnels to hunt his victims. This movie blends elements from the first few films while giving Jason a more tactical edge. Derek Mears, who played Jason, worked closely with the stunt team to ensure Jason's movements were more calculated and methodical, making him a hunter who stalks his prey with precision. It was a fresh take that made this version of Jason more terrifying than ever.
Say hi to Mommy! In hell!
Please like and subscribe to stay tuned.